Welcome to Nomadette. I put my first 2 videos out a couple weeks ago, and I was all enthusiastic, that adrenaline rush of having produced something and gotten it out there and getting a few people to like it, subscribe, and I have had every intention of putting one of these out a week. I have a list of topics that I am excited to talk about, and even have some script thoughts, and had even taken a bunch of footage for one, which I immediately did not like and discarded, and so I feel like I have to do that all over again. And in the meantime, I'm working a full-time job and trying to go through the process of downsizing and letting go of the apartment that I'm living in now. So it's a full plate, to say the least, and with that comes some challenges that I don't think are unique to anybody trying to do this sort of thing, morphing into a retirement life and maybe some slow travel and letting go of stuff. All of those things come with some challenges, and I thought I'd talk about it, and at least how it's affecting me and how I'm approaching it, in case that might help somebody. And also, if anybody has tips, I will gladly take them to help navigate this. Of course, the biggest challenge with all this is just it's time. You don't have enough time. I get the job, downsizing, trying to put YouTubes together, and then the big thing is just crafting a travel plan. So this idea of giving up your core place to live means you have to, and you aren't going to pick another place to live for a long term. Means you have to figure out what are you going to do in that short term, even if it's you're going to wing it. You need to have some sort of maybe loose structure about it, unless you have an RV or a van. And even people in RVs have to do a lot of planning on where they're going to park. That plan, this whole process of downsizing and moving out without a place to move to, and then also having, but you're going to need a place to live, is pretty big. And it's not because it's not the logistics of it. I'm fine with that. It's the decision fatigue. It's really the decision fatigue. And I would say the decision fatigue plus perfectionism. So it's not just about picking a place. It's about picking a place, a location that you're going to stay, and then picking a home that you're going to stay in, and you want it to be a happy experience. So even if you sell, well, it doesn't have to be perfect, but you want it to be really good, right? You don't want to end up spending a month in the wrong part of town, or your place is not comfortable, or just all of the million things that in a perfectionist mind can go wrong. You're wrestling with that. So as you scope out, reading all the reviews and all the fine print and all the details of the various Airbnbs or short-term rentals or hotels, or you're just considering all that, and then debating, the cancellation policies and what you're willing to risk. It's a lot, and it is very time consuming. It's easy to underestimate just how time consuming that is. So I'm in the midst of all that right now, and a plan is starting to come together, but it's a lot, and I was kind of hoping I would have moved out by now, but I haven't, because I just haven't. One, I have to figure out the plan for at least the next, some months into the future. I kind of have to know what my plan is, and the other is the energy to actually do the moving part, the packing up what I'm going to keep and getting rid of all the rest, and giving notice, cleaning the place out. All of that is a lot, so it hasn't left a lot of time for YouTube preparation. So that's why this is going to be a pretty rough cut. It's a good experience. Rather than not doing any YouTube at all, I thought I would do this. This is part of the journey. This is the logistics of it. And then the other, in addition to the whole decision fatigue aspect, there is an emotional impact to downsizing that can surprise you. And some people expect it to happen because they've always had a hard time with it. I'm kind of mixed. I come from a family of borderline hoarders that kept everything, and I kind of went the other way. Gleefully went through that first cut through all my stuff and got rid of stuff that I had for decades, and I had no problem getting rid of it. But once you get over that first cut, it gets a little harder. And I, again, it may just be the fatigue of doing it, the decision fatigue, because you're like, oh, do I really want to get rid of that personalized bowling ball that just fits me perfectly? I haven't been bowling in so long. Why would I hold it? But you start second guess yourself, whereas at the beginning you were like, out with it, I don't need that. So that's kind of where I am. And then photo albums, I have so many photo albums, which I love that I have all those. A lot of them though were inherited, so they came down from my parents, my grandparents, and while I know them, I don't know many of the other people that are in those pictures, but I can't bear to let them go. There's a temptation to take the easy way out on some of this stuff, so you get to a point where you're like, fine, just box it up, put it in storage, and I'll think about it later. And there's nothing wrong with taking that approach, but it is kicking the can down the road. So that's kind of where I am, is trying to find that balance of forcing myself to make those tough decisions and putting that effort, and still get the heck out of this apartment and get the journey on the road. So that's where I am in this journey, and I do have great aspirations of putting together some well-formed content and videos of where I go and some location information and just the whole actual Nomadette life aspect of this channel, which is going to be going different places. But this is part of the journey too. So, my takeaways about how I'm approaching it, at least right now. But right now, my approach is to not make any rash decisions. There's a temptation to just set an arbitrary milestone in the sand, give my notice here, and that as a forcing function to get me to do stuff. And while that might work, that will add a little more stress than I really care to take on right now. So no rash decisions. And I look at it as I keep putting the puzzle pieces together. I have places I will be the latter part of the year, so really it's just choosing the time that I have to move out and having enough time to pull that off. What I don't want to do is go on those things and still be paying for this apartment, because the whole idea behind this was to use what I would be paying in rent to fund this a different approach to living. And the other temptation that I have to resist is to just find another home base that might be less expensive. And again, I feel it's kicking the can down the road. I feel like if I do find another home base, someplace I'm going to take a long-term rental out, it should be because I want to spend that time in that place long-term. So I'm putting the puzzle pieces together, and the thought that eventually it's all going to work out. I can see it coming together. Kind of my last piece of advice, I think, is it's okay to give up on the little things as long as you don't give up on the big thing. Like if this is something you really want to do, keep your eyes on the prize. Don't give up on the big thing, because it could be very easy for me to say, wow, this is more than I thought. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to find another long-term place to live and travel. I'm not ready to give up on the big thing, so it's okay to give up on the little things. So little things might be like, maybe I am not perfect about this downsizing. Maybe I end up holding on some stuff that I probably should have let go. It's okay. That can be put off for another day. Maybe I won't find the perfect short-term rentals. Maybe they'll cost a little bit more than I was hoping to spend, or maybe they're not going to be in the perfect location, but they're going to be perfectly adequate for my needs, and that's okay too. That's how I'm approaching it. So this is a very low overhead video. I'm not going to spend a ton of time editing it. I'll just try to take out the weird pauses and whatnot, and but I hope it's still valuable. And I hope you still join me on this journey, and I look forward to your comments, advice for people who've been there, or just thoughts from people that are also thinking about doing this life and their experiences. So I hope you have a wonderful day wherever you are.